Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, the class has been started. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, all of you. It's not good morning now, it's 12:01, it's good afternoon. Yes, your class is started now. Okay. Good afternoon. How are you? I hope you all are doing good. Yes, the class has been started. Yes. Okay, fine. Chalo, good. So, as we were doing this chapter, I hope you all remember this chapter when the earth shook. Yes, present. Yes, also please write your name so that I can know who is present. And I hope my voice is clearly audible. Okay, Ayan, everything is fine. Okay. So, we were doing this chapter when the earth shook, right? And we were discussing about the earthquake. And can you please recall what were we discussing in the previous class? Screen is clear to me. Okay. Can you please share what we were discussing in the previous class? What were the terms that we discussed in the previous class? Bhuj incident, accident, yes. What else? About Bhuj and what else? How do we measure the earthquake? Yes, earthquake in Bhuj, good. Okay. Report on that Bhuj accident, yes, good. Okay. About Bhuj earthquake accident, and we were discussing about Richter scale and yes, intensity. How do we measure the intensity of the earthquake? Yes, we were discussing that what we should do while we are during the earthquake or after the earthquake. Yes, good. Yes, we were discussing about Richter scale, measuring the intensity of the earthquake. Yes. And about seismograph or seismometer. Yes. So, Richter scale tells us how intense the earthquake was, and the seismograph or seismometer, it measures the intensity, measures the earthquake. Yes, measures the shock waves that we feel during the earthquake. Yes, Khyati. Yes, we were discussing how to measure the intensity of earthquake. Okay, good. Very good. So, I think now you all remember what we were discussing. Seismograph, Richter scale, about Bhuj incident, and we also read a TV report on that earthquake. Okay, very good. Acha, now let's discuss, let's think. So, we know that earthquake causes so much of destruction, and because of the earthquake we are not able to live our lives like we used to. So, there is so much of destruction around. So, can you please share your thoughts, what kind of destruction are we talking about, except the buildings that get destroyed and the lives of the people that get hurt? What else, what kind of destructions are also caused by the earthquake? Zara socho and think about it. जब earthquake hit करता है किसी place को, it destroys the life of that area. It also destroys the crops, yes, people's property, good. What else? We are not able to grow the crops, right? Also, the farmers and the people that used to do their daily work, many building gets broken, yes, that used to do their daily work, they are not able to do that, good. So, the buildings, many buildings like school, hospitals, all these things get destroyed. So, the students, they are not able to go to the school on daily basis. So, there are no schools. If the buildings get destroyed, there won't be any infrastructure to go to. What else? People's property is there, yes. What else? Medical infrastructure, your school, fire stations, these buildings, they are no more, yes. There are cracks in the grounds. Good. Okay. Yeah. So these kinds of natural disasters like earthquake, they cause many destructions, like buildings. Yes, it destroys the people's property, their belongings. Yes. Good afternoon, Vanshika. Okay. So, like earthquake, there are some other natural disasters also that causes much destructions and affects the life of the people. So here, let me show you some pictures. Okay. So one after effects of earthquake can be famine. I hope you have heard this word. Let me show you a picture on it. So, is it visible? Yes. So, if an area gets hit by an earthquake or any kind of natural disaster like earthquake and flood and even hurricanes, so the area around it gets destroyed in many ways. So the people are not able to get food on regular basis, so there is a scarcity of food. Okay, the availability of food gets less. Voice is echoing, just a minute. Is it fine now? Okay, so here, yes, what is famine? Okay, now it's fine. So what is famine? Famine is the acute scarcity of food. And how does it happen? When does it happen, famine? When there is a natural disaster. Okay, so what are natural disasters? Can you give me some examples of natural disasters? Except earthquake. Any other natural disaster? Tsunami, earthquake, floods, very good. Ranjan, very good. Cyclone, yes, Bhushan. Floods, good. Tsunami and Charvi, tsunami, the spelling of tsunami starts with T. Yes, so these kinds of natural disaster can also cause famine. So earthquakes, they can cause famine. Floods can cause famine. What else? Volcano eruption. Okay, good. So anything that can destroy an area ecosystem can cause a famine. Okay. So due to human-made causes. What are human-made causes? Drought, okay, hurricanes, yes, these are some examples of natural disasters. Volcano eruptions, okay. So the famine is basically when you don't get enough food to survive, okay. The food is not enough for everyone, okay. So there is less food and more people to feed, okay. So this is famine. That means the food is not at all available to everyone in sufficient quantity. Okay. So it is one of the after effects or one of the after causes. Famine can happen after an earthquake. If the earthquake has severely destroyed the area, the famine can happen. Okay. Now let's look at the next picture. So yes, what are the causes we have discussed? It can be drought. Drought means सूखा पड़ जाना, and flood is excess of water. So these are opposite situations. Okay. So what are the causes of famines? First is drought, flood, and there can be many more reasons, but right now we are going to discuss these two. Yes, storms, accidents, these are many reasons, different reasons, but in today's class we are going to discuss only these two. So let's focus on these two. What is drought and what is flood? Okay. So we know that drought is a cause of a famine. So what is a drought? You can see this picture. Just look at and observe this picture and look at the land. Here you can see the cracks on it. This is not because of the earthquake. This is because there is no rainfall. There is no water in the ground. Okay, drought means सूखा, एकदम dry हो जाना. Okay, so in this picture, you can see the land. It is totally dried up. Okay, that means here there is no rainfall. Rainfall जितनी होनी चाहिए थी. So there is a reduction in the rainfall. Okay, so let's focus on drought first. So any water body near this land must have dried up, like any river or pond or lake that has been dried up. Okay, drought is caused due to global warming. Okay, we'll discuss that later, but first let's see the reasons. So global warming, we'll discuss it later. Let's see this here. So reduction in rainfall. If any water body like lake, pond or river dries up, वो सूख जाती है. If the crops dries out, and if the food materials cannot be produced. So these are the different points that leads to drought. अगर rainfall नहीं होगी properly, the land can dry up. If rainfall is less, like lake, pond, river, it can dry up. वो भी सूख सकते हैं because of the heat. Also, because of the drought, the crops that we have grown with less rainfall and no water body around, it can also dry out. Also, because of drought, no food materials can be produced. Okay, so drought is basically there is no water in the surrounding, everything is dried out and there is too much of heat, and because of this we are not able to grow anything. Yes, crop will dry. Good, Aarti. Yes, so this is a cause of famine. Famine में क्या है? Food availability नहीं होती है. And food availability कैसे नहीं होगी? अगर drought पड़ता है तो, drought होता है तो कोई बारिश नहीं, land will get dry out, there will be no crops and there will be no food. Simple. Now let's look at the, yes Aarti, ponds and lakes will dry up. Now let's look at the next picture. So this is the second cause of famine. So drought में क्या था? There was no water. Okay, but in flood there is excess of water. Excess means हद से ज़्यादा. That means the amount of water that is required by us, it is more than that. Okay, I hope this picture is visible to all. So there are two causes that we are discussing today. First is drought and another one is flood. Drought we know, it means it dries everything out, and flood is excess of water or too much of water. जितना हमें पानी चाहिए उससे बहुत ज़्यादा. Okay. Yes, good Khyati. During drought and flood, in both of the cases, the crops will get destroyed. Very good. Yes, so therefore, excess of water and too little of water, in both these conditions, it is harmful for the crops. Yes, so in flood, what happens? There is increase in water level than the normal level. Normal level means जितना we require, जितना हमें चाहिए, उससे बहुत ज़्यादा अगर water का level increase हो जाता है, it can cause flood. Okay, what are the next points? Let's read it out. Rainfall, if the rainfall is too high. Okay, so if there is too much of rainfall, echo, the voice is echoing. I hope it's all clear. Yes, good, everything will get drowned. So if there is too much of rainfall and too much of rainfall can cause increase in water levels of the river, और वो water फिर कहाँ पे आएगा, हमारे residential area में, जहाँ हम रहते हैं वहाँ तक आएगा, and to in our fields, in our grounds, and it will destroy every crop. Okay, it will flood the area and there will be no ground left to grow anything. Okay, so if there's too much of rainfall, the water bodies will overflow. Overflow मैंने बताया, that means the water from those bodies, water bodies like river, lake, ponds, it will come to our area where we live. And because of the increase in water level, the crops will be washed away. Okay, so the crops need a limited amount of water. उससे ज़्यादा देंगे, the crops will get destroyed and it will get washed away. Yes, flash flood, hurricane storm. In all these cases, our crops will get destroyed. Okay, so hurricane is different thing, flood is different thing. We are going to discuss it in different classes. Okay, so these are the two causes of famine. First is drought, next is flood. Okay, so in both these cases, these are the natural disasters. Flood can happen naturally. Okay, if there is too much of rainfall, so the water level can increase, and if there is no rainfall at all or there is too less rainfall, then it can cause drought. Okay, so what happens if there's a natural disaster and if there's a famine? Okay, so what happens if there's a famine? So we know that there is the scarcity in the food. Okay, so screen is not clear, but it is clear to me. I can see it clearly. I can read everything. Okay, now now let's focus. If you are not able to see it, I am reading it. Okay, so in famine there is very less production of the food, or there is almost no production of the food. Okay, the fields get destroyed, either it gets dried out or it gets flooded, and there's no availability of crop. Okay, so what happens? There is unequal distribution of food. That means access to food is limited. Okay, जितना हमें चाहिए person उतना food we won't. Inability to afford the cost of production. That means if the food supply gets limited, अगर food ही कम मिलेगा, so the prices of the food will increase, and because of the limited food supply, there will be increase in price of the food item, and there are many people that won't be able to afford the increase in price. So there is unequal distribution of the food. Okay, so last line नहीं दिख रही. Last line is inability to afford the cost of production. It is totally visible to me and it will be visible to all. So unequal distribution of food is when everybody doesn't get the food and the price of the food also gets increased. So that means the food is not easily available to all. Okay. Okay. So we have discussed the 4 slides now. So what is famine? You know, the causes of famines are drought and flood that we are discussing today. there are many more causes, but today we have discussed these two. So drought is when everything gets dried out, there is no water body around and food materials cannot be produced. Okay, and what is flood? When there is too much of water and too much of rainfall, which can lead to water bodies to overflow, and because of this the crops are washed away. And the last, because of these two conditions, in the drought and in the flood, because of these natural disaster, the amount of food get reduced. So we are not able to get enough food to feed everyone, okay, in that area. And if there is food, the price of those food items get increased, and because of that the people are not able to afford them. So this leads to unequal distribution of food items. Okay. So I hope you all understand now what all things can happen if we get stuck in a natural disaster. Also, what will happen afterwards? What all things can happen? It can cause to drought, or it can cause famine. Yes, and because of that we have to bear with so much of hardship. So we have to be prepared in such conditions that we have discussed it in the previous class also, that we should be prepared for such natural disasters. Okay, we should get all the necessary items beforehand. During the earthquake or before earthquake, we should be ready with our backpacks, which should have all the necessary items. Okay, so can you think about the necessary items that we should keep in our bags before the earthquake, or we should be prepared before any natural disaster? Can you name few items? Torch, very good. Yes, Sangeeta. So emergency, it is your emergency kit. Okay, before any natural disaster we all should be prepared, right? So yes, good. Torch, very good. Let me write them. Torch is very important. Food, yes, Lakshita has written food. Water, very good. Food, water. What else? Emergency numbers, okay. Candle. So candle, okay, you guys, you can keep candle, but and first aid, yes, very yashasvi, very good. First aid is very important. So we have read it in the chapter that people get hurt during the earthquake. So yes, bandages, first aid box, all these things are very important. That should be in your emergency kit. Rope, very good. You all are very smart. Yes, good. We can't keep shelter in our emergency kit. Who has written shelter? Ayan. So tent, okay. Bandages, bottles, snacks, first aid, water, good. Whistle, yes. If we want any help, we should have a whistle so that we can call for help. What else? Tent, okay. Yes, you can say tent. If it fits in your bag, yes, why not? Okay, energy drinks, sweater, okay, very good. One pen and notebook to jot down something, yes. Clothes, yes. What else? Good. Clothes, flare gun, very nice. Okay. Double layered plastic sheet, extra clothes, okay. So this is your emergency kit. Okay, so in this you have to keep the things that are most important. Most important is your food, water, torch, first aid, rope, whistle, okay, flare gun if you want to call for help, good. Some money, okay. All the time, so this is different. Emergency kit is different. Okay, flare gun you can write. No voice. Money, okay. Okay, fine. I think this much is fine. We have food, we have okay. No audio, not audible, very low voice. Just a minute. Is it audible now? Clear? Now clear? Very good. Chalo. So we have written down these things. Okay, stop writing now. Clear? Now let's focus here. So emergency kit, we have all the necessary items. If you want to call for help, we can use whistle or flare gun. Okay. Water, tent is for shelter, good. First aid is very important. Food, torch, and some money also. So all these things are really important, and we should have them in handy. And I think my voice is now clear to all. And I hope you all now understand what are the things related to the earthquake. First of all, what is an earthquake? Okay, what happens during an earthquake? Okay, what we should do while we are in the earthquake. Okay, these are the points that we have discussed, and you all should know the answers for these points that I am telling you right now. Okay, so what we should do during the earthquake, what we should do after the earthquake, how should we help anyone who gets stuck or gets injured. Yes, don't write the answers. Yes, I know you all know. Just listen to the points I am sharing. So, what can we do after the earthquake? How we should help the others? Okay, and even after earthquake, we should try to stay calm and stay aware. If the aftershocks come, we should be prepared. Also, these are the some points that I have written here. We should be prepared beforehand. Okay, even if we are not able to predict an earthquake, we should be prepared beforehand. We should have an emergency kit with us. Okay, in that kit we should have all these things. So if anything happens, we should be prepared to deal with it. Yes, torch, food, water, candle, and yes, Khyati, during an earthquake we should not panic. Be calm. Get inside the table, and good. You all know the things that we have discussed. Very good. Yes, so in the emergency kit, we should all be prepared with this. So if anything happens, anything goes wrong, we will be prepared to survive for few days. Okay, till the help comes. Okay. So I hope you all now understand this chapter very clearly, and you will be able to deal with any situation. Yes? Okay. Yeah, call for disaster management. Yeah. Water bottle, yes, I have written water. Alim. Okay now. So, Okay, I hope you all understand. And now let's end this class. Okay, do you want to ask anything? Do you have any doubts? Yes, phone, mobile, yes, you can use it, you can keep it. Okay, Ayan, understood, Sangeeta? Okay, Pranjana, no doubt. Okay, I hope now. So, yes, I can see there's no doubt. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you. So, we are going to continue in the next class with another chapter, I hope. Okay, so goodbye till then. Peace out everyone, and we are going to meet again in the next class. Okay, goodbye. Take care. Have a nice day. Let's end the class here.